delay. How about that?
Wow, look at us.
You're not even supposed to be here.
I'm on delay.
You're on delay. That's all right. We're glad that you're at least able to join us for a moment. This is the EriDan Film Festival. It's the moment you've been waiting for. It's Monday evening, the time where you get to talk with family and friends and make new friends and do all the stuff and talk movies.
Can I ask a question? My first question, why does every airport have the same seat, no matter what state or airport you're in?
You buy in bulk.
Like it's like the Costco of seats.
I love this. Yeah, actually, this makes an excellent background. You look like you're in some futuristic, asylum. There you go. Beautiful.
So my flight's delayed. And that's why I'm able to be on in video. I was going to just be chatting.
Well, we're glad you were able to join the video.
And anyone else who wants to be a guest can go to EriDanLive.com.
Just like Dan did. It's so easy. Even Dan can do it. So we want you to join us at EriDanLive.com. Come on. We're going to talk movies. We're going to talk some television. We're going to talk some other stuff. Specifically, we're going to talk about The Watchmen, which is not The Watchmen. I kept doing that. We're just going to talk about Watchmen. And we're going to talk about other stuff. So you should join, right? I think so.
Sure. Absolutely.
And I think that's about it. And we're gonna hear what our next movie is, and that's about it. Anything you'd like to add?
I don't have much to say.
All right.
I'm getting more people around me. I might have to move again.
Oh man! All right. Well, when you do that, I'm gonna start bringing some people in.
Perfect.
I'm sorry, Dave. This conversation can serve no purpose anymore.
Well, hello, Dave.
Hello.
How are you?
Doing all right.
You're doing all right. Glad you could join in.
Hello, Dave.
I'm actually very interested to hear your take on this movie.
Well, it is interesting you're talking about wanting to call it The Watchmen, because one of the constant taglines throughout less in the movie, but certainly in the book, is "Who's watching the Watchmen?" Sort of the graffiti and that's
you see it once in the movie.
Yes, you see it once basically,
but not very front and center even.
It's much more prevalent through the book.
I get the feeling the book is more prevalent. Not that I've read the book.
That's an interesting thing. I'll wait till more people are on to discuss that, because I'm curious how many people. Amanda, I know, has read the book, so it'll be interesting to see how many people have done both.
Have done the both, yeah. And so, speaking of more people, let's bring some more people in. Wait a second. I forgot to push the buttons. I forgot I have all the buttons.
Yeah. I just like the love theme playing, and you show a picture of Dan.
I just enjoy. I just wanted to play it one more time. No. Stacey and Wade are here.
Yeah.
I bet you this was one of Stacey's favorite movies that we've ever watched.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I almost wasn't able to finish watching it.
At least it wasn't violent,
Did you make it through this movie, Stacey?
I sat here for most of it.
At one point, she's like, "I'm not watching it anymore."
That's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair. That's kind of what I predicted.
Yeah. So, hey Dan, those seats look just like the ones on Spirit Airlines. That's probably where they get them at.
Yeah.
They're airplane seats.
Yeah.
Nice.
These are the waiting room seats.
Yeah.
All right. We're gonna bring more people on.
Bring them on.
We're gonna bring more on.
Moron. Who are you calling a moron?
That's Scott? Yes, it's Scott.
It's Scott. As a baby. He'll grow. Bring Scott back.
What? I see this as an absolute win.
Scott!
Trust me, there is no one more on than me.
Oh.
Ow.
Wow.
But he's still hot.
And I like how you say that with like zero inflection to your point. There is no one more on than me.
I was trying to do the Joker from Arkham City. There's plenty wrong with me. Yeah. Dan, I got to say, this angle is making me realize how much weight you've lost. Congratulations, sir.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah. Stacey, I'm not sorry for making you sit through 30 minutes of this movie.
And you don't need to be. It's your movie. You picked it.
Yeah,
Watchmen.
I knew not everyone was gonna like it. It's
Well, yeah,
okay.
that happens.
Mhm.
It does happen.
If I wanted to pick a movie that everyone was gonna like, would have picked Freddy Got Fingered.
Oh, jeez.
Oh no.
I don't think that's the right choice.
Would
Yeah,
you wear your
I
cheese?
probably
helmet?
wouldn't even be here.
My cheese.
Speaking of not being here. No, I have no idea.
Speaking of
All right, there's Brian.
I was gonna say, speaking of getting fingered, but you cut me off. Good
Oh man! Wow,
Brian got fingered.
I'm so sorry I cut you off for that. Adam is in here in the comments, and so is Amanda, joining us. And out of all the superhero movies to pick, this was definitely not one of the better ones. So we'll see how everybody feels about this.
If blue was the color of surprise, Dr. Manhattan is not surprised ever.
No, he doesn't know about shrinkage either.
No,
Apparently, he's never
just
cold.
duplication.
My goodness gracious!
I think.
Are we gonna jump? I think we should just jump in.
I think we should
Just jump in. It's Watchmen from
Christian movie.
2009. Not the Watchmen, just Watchmen from the visionary director of 300. It says right there on the poster. Zack Snyder was responsible for losing money. $130 million budget, $185 million worldwide gross.
That's
but
more.
Lost money.
Wider gross.
The critics at a 65, the audience at a 71. Billy Crudup, Malin Ackerman. I don't even know these people. Let's go, Scott. Why? Why? Whoa. That was not the view that I meant. Whoa, and that's not the view that I meant either. Look at this. It's all over the place. Oh, here we go. All right.
Oh, there he is.
See what happens when I'm watching.
Sorry, where's my bucket? I gotta.
Here we go again.
God. So, I gotta be honest. I kind of spontaneously picked this movie, and it's just something that I've wanted to talk about for a while because I don't think everyone can agree that this is a great movie, but it is definitely a movie that defined probably one of the most important genres in the last 15 years in a way that we knew exactly what we want a superhero movie to be and not to be. We knew what the Hamlet was going to be. There's a lot in this movie that definitely works. Oh my gosh, it is the closest to a comic book you will ever get as far as a superhero movie will go, just because, and it's literally because Zack Snyder lifted everything off the panels. And here's the thing. If you love Zack Snyder, you will love this movie. If you don't, there are some things you will just certainly have to tolerate, while also keeping in mind, this is one of those novels that people said it can never really be adapted into a film.
Including the writer.
Yeah, exactly. And they tried it twice. They were going to try it twice. Terry Gilliam was one of the directors who was going to make a version of this back in the late 80s. And he said, I can't do this. This is impossible. If Terry Gilliam, the guy who made Brazil, says this movie is too weird to actually take on, listen. So, yeah, I think this is just much more of a conversation piece. Like, what aged well about this movie and what didn't. So, have at it.
There you go.
It aged well, and I didn't even notice that it hadn't aged. I was shocked that it was from 2009 because I'd never heard of it. So I don't see an age to it because they did such a great job with the costuming of the time periods, the 70s, the 40s, different that you couldn't tell when it was made. I thought that was really good. So aging, I don't think it was an aging thing at all.
Casting was.
I think there was an editing problem.
What's that?
Yeah, there was no
an editing problem. Oh my gosh, is this a long movie?
Yeah.
Holy moly!
It's because Snyder really wanted to make the graphic novel as a movie. He couldn't bring himself to make, and I'm usually one who complains sometimes about too many cuts from the source material.
Mm-hmm.
he probably should have trimmed like 20 minutes or so off of it. It still holds up. I think I like the movie, but it is such a slavish, other than one major plot point, by the way, but it is such a slavish make of the graphic novel, and I think that really hurts it. The only movie I can ever, and I mentioned this I think last week, the only movie I can think of that took an iconic graphic novel or series of graphic novels and really made a slavishly faithful adaptation to them and made it work is Sin City.
Yeah.
And I do enjoy Sin City as a movie, and I've never seen the graphic novel for that either.
It is very well, to the extent that the director of Sin City tried to get the comic book writer credited as a co-director on the film because he felt he was lifting so much from the comic book.
Oh, wow.
And that was framing his shots. That was all the composition. And the Directors Guild of America wouldn't let him do it.
Oh, wow.
So he quit the Directors Guild.
But they will say that Tarantino had his one scene. They just won't tell you what it is.
But it is its greatest strength and its greatest weakness is its slavish devotion to the source material.
That's the crew from my plane, by the way, just walking down to.
There they are.
They look sober?
Well, they just left.
Okay.
They moved us to the they moved us to the next gate, and there's no plane at the next gate.
Oh boy!
Oh, great!
Oh,
good. Dan can be here for the whole show, though. That's good.
Oh no, wait! There is a plane. They're walking into that plane now. Okay, good.
So Brittany is in the comments for just 5 seconds. She laughed really hard because last week humans were called beans, and in the first 5 minutes of this movie, they're called human bean juice. That's an excellent callback to last week's movie.
The casting is inconsistent. I thought the actor who played Rorschach was perfect. Spot on.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
I thought the actor who played the comedian was excellent.
I thought calling him the comedian was ridiculous, though.
What's that?
I thought they're calling him the comedian, and I'm like,
it's because the whole world is a joke to him. I mean,
so they call him the Joker. Oh wait, that's already taken.
Yeah.
That's why they called him the comedian.
It's very hacky.
Amanda felt that the villain was too obvious, and
he's too pretty. He's too blonde. He's too blue-eyed.
Yeah.
He was a little more telegraphed in the movie than he was in the book.
See, and that's good that she says that she remembers being shocked by that in the book. Yeah, I knew at the beginning. I'm like, okay, he's sinister.
It's never an error to pick the area.
You can trust me. Yeah.
I'm the smartest man in the world. I'm a nerd. You wouldn't hit a guy with glasses, would you?
And I also didn't find his casting to work for me very well.
I get it.
I agree with that too. His casting, I don't know.
His casting was a little iffy. Yeah.
I will say this:
was good as Moloch.
When you see people make fun of Batman and Christian Bale's voice, I feel like Rorschach is such a more appropriate example of the kind of character they're making fun of. Because, oh my gosh, this guy will not STFU. Like, Batman never talks. He only talks what is necessary to the plot. The Joker who never shuts up. But Rorschach, he had some lines.
Rorschach doesn't talk. It's the fact that the narrator is reading from his journal.
Right.
It's not really Rorschach talking. It's a conceit of the movie, not of the character.
But how much more powerful would those scenes have been if he didn't talk, is what I'm saying.
I also thought, there's a scene where you see him early on. He's in the street without his mask on because he looks like Danny Bonaducci. And I was like, was that Danny Bonaducci? And then when I saw him later, I go, oh wait, he was there earlier on the street without his mask on.
Right.
I thought he looked like Danny Kaye as a burn victim.
That's Danny Bonaducci.
He's actually from the Bad News Bears.
The actor was.
Is he the brat from Bad News Bears?
He's
the blonde brat.
No, the dark-haired kid.
Oh, the dark-haired kid. Okay. Yes, Adam, I agree. And you know something? Thank God we got the miniseries from HBO in 2019, even though it's not the same novel, because holy crap. Terry Gilliam said in the 1990s this should be a TV miniseries, and they didn't have the tech and they didn't have anything to make it worthwhile.
That would be my biggest thing. Like the story is much bigger than or longer, or however you want to, than a movie. Like they tried to dense it up too much, you know, like
Yeah.
yeah,
They knew they couldn't get a. They knew they couldn't get a part 2. That's why.
right, and so they put so much into it, and I think it made it kind of not good, you know.
Yeah.
I think they put so much into it, but I still feel like most of the characters come across as one note, not very deep characters.
Yeah.
You know,
They come
there's
across
a
as
few
caricatures,
that you
yeah.
actually get
Yeah.
it from.
Although in the case of Rorschach, that's deliberate. He is supposed to be an extreme. He is a one. There's, you know, he's almost like Two-Face or
Right.
what's the guy's name from No Country for Old Men? You know, there's no gray. The world is black and white, and either you are evil and deserve death, or you're good and deserve to be left alone and be protected.
Compromise.
And it's funny that you say that there wasn't character development, because I was reading reviews and people were like, "Oh, the character development, blah blah." I'm like, did you watch the same movie?
Did you read
I would
the
be
book?
very curious to hear people's reviews, who the movie was their first exposure to this versus people who'd read the graphic novel first, because I think the experience is very different.
That's probably true.
The graphic novel was my first graphic novel I ever read in high school, and it was in my high school library. And I gotta say, it was incredible to read. And then I watched the movie. I'm like, okay, it's cool that all the images came to life, but it just seems emptier. And also, can we follow up and say that Zack Snyder started doing the jukebox musical before James Gunn did when it came to superhero movies? But
James Gunn did it better.
Yeah, because he actually made it like relevant to the character and the story. Like the music actually supported where each character was and sent you off on a high note. It wasn't just the background.
Yeah.
Who the heck has sex to Leonard what's his face?
Hold on, wait, let me get my Leonard Cohen CDs. Hold on.
I will say though that many of the, not all by any means, but many of the songs in the movie were mentioned in the graphic novel, which is why some of them were chosen.
Correct.
That doesn't mean it was a good idea, but
So Amanda says that she thought that the plan of the bad guy was stupid. If everybody thinks Manhattan did it, why would they unite when Manhattan is clearly working with the U.S.? His plan, while still naive, was more logical in the book. Like the idea that horrible monsters may appear at any time. We need to be ready. Seems a little better unifier than there's one bad guy who, by the way, is totally allied with the U.S.
That's
because
what difference from the book is. In the book, instead of trying to set the world against Dr. Manhattan, he concocts a fake alien invasion to try to unite the world.
Yeah, which is why you have all the squid in the first episode of the new Watchmen show. And the other thing too is that Manhattan literally represents what his name is. He's supposed to be like the atom bomb.
Yeah, the Manhattan Project.
Yeah. Why they didn't name him Captain Atom
without pants? The atom bomb without pants.
And that's why he does the logo he does is that's a hydrogen atom.
Exactly. And I think that's what's supposed to be like, you know, blame the bomb, the living bomb. Once you get rid of the bomb, everyone's going to get along.
I think part of the reason they changed it was one of the criticisms that Moore faced with the graphic novel was some people, including an editor on the comic who then quit over the controversy, felt that he sort of ripped off the ending from Architects of Fear from The Outer Limits. Which is why the Outer Limits reference is in both the movie and the book.
That's right.
And
now it's an homage.
Yeah, and so I think they may have changed in the movie to sort of eliminate, it's not a fake alien. But I think Amanda's right. It also it was a bit of a weaker motivation.
I will say straight up, the best scene in this, the two best scenes in this are Rorschach's first crime when he kills the guy with the kid, and Dr. Manhattan's origin story. Between the two, like those are great scenes. They're well built, and it's because the pacing in the comic book is appropriate with the pacing in the actual movie. Everything else does feel like it has this snail pace, and that's ultimately where this movie falls flat, is that despite the fact that it cuts out so much, it still takes up all this freaking time. Like expecting this to be like another Lord of the Rings movie, just space is okay.
I made a huge mistake by watching the ultimate cut, which is 3 hours and 35 minutes.
Oh, Eric. Oh my God.
How did it feel to see the world as Dr. Manhattan, Eric?
Time is meaningless, right?
It's 5 o'clock. I'm still watching the movie.
I'll say I really enjoyed the first 2 hours and 15 minutes. What is happening? But there's no argument cartoon that is thrown throughout the movie if you watch the ultimate cut.
The original publication of this in DC was 12 issues, and Moore realized after he contracted for it, he really only had enough plot for 6 issues. So the series was interleaved. Every other issue was basically an origin story of one of the team members. Is how he fleshed it out. So actually, it was very, as Scott pointed out, it was very faithful to the comic book. To have a standalone origin for Dr. Manhattan that way, which they really didn't do. I mean, they did a bit with Rorschach. They did it with Dr. Manhattan. They really didn't do it with any of the other characters, though.
Well, and so all the other characters, nobody else comes across as like super powered. Everybody else.
Nobody else has. Only Dr. Manhattan has any extra human powers in it.
Exactly right, and even the world's smartest man is just a super smart man.
No, it's pretty much Batman as a wuss, and the one people actually thought of Wonder Woman in the 80s.
It reminds me of there was a thing that Marvel did a couple of years ago, because there had been a running debate among comic book geeks about who's smarter, Reed Richards or Tony Stark.
Right.
And they had an episode where Tony Stark manages to gain some godlike powers, and as one of his things, he's going to make all of mankind as smart as he is. And Reed Richards feels himself getting dumber. Is how they answered that question.
That's how Eric felt watching the 3.5-hour cut.
Pretty much. All right, here we go. WATCHMAN.
Oh, God.
So much more attention and technology than was allotted for this movie, even though they spent $130 million. I still remember watching this movie when I was fresh out of high school with the kind of bad taste in my mouth through the political unrest during the Iraq War. I read too deep in the political allegory. Watching it as a comic book movie is easier today.
It's interesting.
Honestly, I feel like, man, if you could give me goodness gracious, a 2-hour and 20-minute cut of this movie, I might be very interested in that. My wife was so mad with the end of this movie. She was just like everything that everybody did in this movie was completely irrelevant.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
just,
agree.
The whole movie
kind of way I felt too.
Served no purpose. So she is beside herself.
Zack Snyder. I find Zack Snyder frustrating as a filmmaker because I see that he has real talent. The guy is a skilled filmmaker. He really is.
He's a visionary.
Like a Michael Bay that I consider to be a hack. But I don't usually like his movies because he's sort of a victim of his own worst tendencies.
Yeah.
I like 300, but that's about the main movie that I really like by Zack Snyder.
Remember, guys, Zack Snyder in the space of 5 years made 300, this, and then Sucker Punch. And this is the best of those 3 movies.
I disagree with that. I like Sucker Punch.
I think 300 is much more entertaining.
I will defend Sucker Punch.
What?
I would much rather watch Sucker Punch, which isn't 3.5 hours, by the way.
Mercifully. Dan, stop upsetting people.
I know, I'm sorry.
I heard an alarm earlier. Was that you?
Yeah, I should mute, actually. So a plane just came into our gate, and they're unloading it now. It was full of people. So it's not like they're just giving us a different plane. I don't know how they do these things.
I hope it's not a diarrhea plane.
I'm glad it was full of people, and it looks like there was 2 of every animal that came off the plane. Let me see.
Sorry, Scott.
Double Brian's. Look at
that. Oh, no!
Double Brian.
He's Dr. Manhattan. Please put your pants on.
Dr. Manhattan.
It dropped out for some reason. I have no idea.
4 hands come into the screen.
Yeah.
Keep it on your chest.
I think that was the best line in the movie was, "Your fingers taste like I'm licking a battery."
I didn't like that movie.
My question:
Can we address the lack of pants on Dr. Manhattan?
That was one of the reviews too.
Why was he wearing the weird belt breechcloth in the World War II era, the Vietnam era scenes? I mean, that was weird.
It was
sometimes he wore the G-string, and sometimes he wore the nothing.
Yeah.
So when the astronaut turned around and saw him, can you imagine what he was thinking?
Anyone else seen Rick and Morty?
Comments.
He was thinking, "Well, somebody's happy to see me."
Yeah.
Anyone else think of Rick and Morty and that scene where the giant Santa gets zapped over the country? And
Never
I'll
seen
leave
Rick
it at
and
that.
Morty.
I will say
That
that
does not
one
surprise
of the
me.
weaknesses, in my opinion, one of the weaknesses of the movie, and I'm not blaming Crudup, is the CGI Dr. Manhattan. Not the visuals so much. He just felt so. I mean, he's supposed to seem almost like he's leaving humanity behind. I get that. But in the same way, when we were watching Star Trek and we were discussing Leonard Nimoy's portrayal of Spock and how he's one of the few actors who's managed to portray him as logical and lacking emotions without seeming like an automaton, I didn't get a sense of, like, when he is convinced to respect life again and come back to Earth, I didn't buy it in this movie.
No, it was like Kirstie Alley in the Star Trek movie we watched.
I think Billy Crudup or Curdup or however you say his name is really good in the TV show Morning Show on Apple Plus.
And he was good in the live action portions when he wasn't Dr. Manhattan.
Yeah, he's a good actor. Adam made a good point. I don't know if you put that up yet, but it is over 20 minutes past. So
I didn't realize we had such a strict schedule in this show.
that's just what I always do every show at 20 after. Like, well, let's score.
Dan's like, you guys are having too much. You're enjoying this conversation too much. I'd like to.
I want a conversation, Adam. Fuck you. It's my movie.
Well, Adam, normally I only say it when it is a lull. This time it wasn't. That's why I never said anything.
Yeah.
So I do want to get my score. I do want to get my score before I get start boarding.
I just figured because Dr. Manhattan didn't have any pants on, I could say the F word. I apologize.
Pants off, dance off.
Oh, created a lull just there.
I'm never going to direct a movie for DC. Yeah, think about what movies came out before this. Literally the year before, you had Dark Knight and you had Iron Man. You had two different directions to go in, and I feel like this movie tried to do both. It was very bold in its visuals, and it was also trying to be a very deep story. The problem is that it had a director that was so much more focused on bringing visuals to life than bringing in dialogue, than bringing in conversation, because that's ultimately why everyone loves Watchmen, because it is a satire of the period that it came out in, a period where everyone was feeling doubt despite this very optimistic culture and everything else that had happened the decade before. And it's not addressed as much because the clear focus was adaptation. And anybody who's seen a shot-for-shot remake, like Psycho, 97, 99? Yeah, it's a very similar vibe. Like, the heart of the work is not there, but the intention is very clear. And you know what? From an artistic basis, bringing comic panels to life, I will guarantee there is no one better than Zack Snyder, which is why he got Man of Steel, which is why he got the whole DC universe for a while. And my hat's off to him coming back with everything that happened with his family and bringing his vision to life after, everyone letting him down. Like, kudos, dude. This was obviously like, a third or fourth step in that evolution, not the pinnacle. And I admire the efforts. I admire the visuals. I think for me, this is probably a 78, 75.
What?
78, 75. So go
Which
with
one is it?
Go with the second number, jackass.
Yeah, that's what I was. That's what I did. That's
Wow.
What I did.
Why would you give a set? Wait, okay, that's like that girl's hot. She's a 9'4".
9 top, 4 bottom.
I get what you're saying, Scott. I feel the same way about cover songs. If you're playing the exact same arrangement note for note as the original performer, like Aerosmith's Come Together, why bother? I'd rather listen to the Beatles version. You have to bring some, whereas Earth, Wind, and Fire's Got to Get You Into My Life did a whole different arrangement, and whether you like it or not, you got to respect what they brought to that song. And I feel the same way about movies that try to be slavishly faithful to the source material. And that was a big stumble here. It tied his hands. He willingly tied his own hands in the making of this movie and limited his ability to make it a better movie. It still does surprisingly well at bringing an extremely hard to bring to life graphic novel to the screen.
Yeah.
It's not to say it's a success completely, but as you were saying, it's almost, Alan Moore described it as impossible to film. Terry Gilliam described it as impossible to film. And even the moviegoers, I think, were very split by it. It did really well the first weekend. It raked in money. And it had one of the worst week-to-week drop-offs in movie history. It just was like, oh, okay.
Which, to be fair, a lot of DC movies generally do.
Yeah, and nobody else went after the hardcore fans were done. It wasn't, you didn't get the people going back for tons of repeat viewings. You didn't, It's just sort of meh. It's sort of how it sort of fell. And I get a little tired with Snyder of, but the director's cut's so much better. Oh, come on. You got to be able to make a movie and get it out there. I realize sometimes if it's taken out of your hands and edited and butchered like Orson Welles had with the Magnificent Ambersons or something like that, that's a different story. But if you make the movie, even if you have some limitations, you can make a good movie. Don't just constantly use the fact that I didn't have the budget or the time to make what I really wanted. He uses that same excuse over and over again, and I get tired of it. That being said, it's not a bad movie. It fell short in a lot of ways. It's too long. Some of the acting performances weren't great, but other parts were excellent. And so it's very polarizing, even in my own brain movie. So I'm giving it a 70.
70. All right.
I'm trying to look up if Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah peaked during 2009.
Well, Leonard Cohen's original version is like 30 verses long. It's insane.
What?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Ryan.
That's about the right time that it started coming into vogue again. So yeah.
Learn something about you, Stacy. Brian.
Okay,
Brian,
so
I thought it was frozen again.
I was just listening to the background. Anyway, so for this movie, I think visually it's really great. Oh well, some parts I don't want to have the visuals of, but anyways,
Yeah.
A little violent.
I think what the violent? I mean, I watched so many horror movies. That's not what I was talking about. Anyway,
Same.
the visuals are like cinematically, like it was everybody was saying, like the life kind of thing. It's cool, but the story is where it really like. Oh,
Dan's
sorry, I was
playfully.
yeah. Sorry.
I was listening to the directions for playing.
Yeah. The story is where it kind of failed for me, and like I'm watching movies for the story, you know.
Yeah.
And I think I'm gonna give it what Dave said as well. Like I was feeling it was a 70 because the visuals were good, but yeah, I'm not so happy with the storytelling.
Fair enough. There's a 70. All right. Let's go over to the writers.
Yeah, I think maybe I might have liked it a little better if I had read the novel and maybe understood a little better, which falls into the storytelling side of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I actually like Stacy quit watching. I'm like, I got to keep watching to figure out what's going on. You know? And yeah, and the ending was kind of like, really? Yeah. So, yeah. So
yeah.
But the costumes and actually, you know, the music they played in was pretty good, and then the cinematography was really good too. I'm going to give it a 65.
65.
That's the critics score. Nice.
Yeah.
Is the critics score. All right. Actually, we can read a couple of these before we get down.
I don't get to vote?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said you didn't finish it.
Oh, I was there. I was here.
She stayed through the whole thing.
Okay.
I was here. I just was like in defense mode.
Fair
I
enough.
had my shields up.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, it was coloring my interpretation of a book I was reading. I was like, oh my gosh, this book is just like this movie. No, it wasn't.
Was it Watchmen?
Knows the Bible.
No, it was lessons in chemistry. I was trying to read. I'm like, it was bad. I was transferring. So like I said earlier, I loved the costuming. I thought if nobody won awards, that's really sad because they were fantastic. I knew one person in this movie, Gugino. I can't even think of her first name. And that's who I knew. I knew nobody else in this movie. I was like, eh.
You didn't know Matt Frewer? Max Headroom?
Yeah, Max Headroom.
Oh, is that who that was?
With the weird ears.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. All right. I recognized him.
Now you say that, the voice,
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And then and I liked the music. I didn't realize it didn't go with the movie, but I liked the music. And that's pretty much it. It was just too long, and the storytelling, everybody keeps saying, it just, where is it? Where's the story?
Yeah.
And it just things that I don't enjoy watching in a movie because I don't enjoy watching it in a movie. Just me. So I'm going to give it a 57.
57. Flavor.
All right.
All right. Now let's read a couple of these really quick. We got Amanda coming in. I think I would have enjoyed this movie more if I hadn't read the book. It's still a well-made movie, just a movie that didn't need to be made. Right. 65. Brittany, 75. Wish I could say more, but work is busy. Really parts that were really hard for me to get through emotionally, but definitely had big thoughts. Also reread the analysis I did for this movie in college. Oof.
That's always painful.
Richard says, I have to nod to Jack Haley for their Rorschach voice. I really cast a certain lightning across the entire film. There is a whimsy to the Watchmen that Zack Snyder is known for giving all of his films. Not something I would repeatedly watch, but great for the right audience, and he gives it a 70. All right, Adam. Daniel, let's hear what you have to say.
Let's keep watching. So I'd never seen this before, but I thought I did. Another one of these movies, I know I say that often. It was really long, and I did watch the entire thing last night. My wife started watching it with me, and she was making comments about, was this Marvel? Is that supposed to be Batman? Is that supposed to be the Joker? And I'm like, it's a knockoff movie. I had not read the graphic novel, but I think it was shot well. I think the acting was pretty good. And I also am looking at it. It's about a C, so I'm going to give it a 71.
71 from Daniel. Okay, very nice. Yeah, this movie is just for that much runtime. I want more. I want more backstory. I want more depth. I want to wear 8 pairs of glasses.
You just want your time back.
I would like
your airplane homage.
I mean, yeah, honestly, the first hour, I'm like, yeah, people are too hard on this movie. And then by the end, it's like, yeah, that's about right.
Yeah.
People aren't hard enough on this movie.
Yeah, so 66. I ended up
too hard during the movie.
So there you go. 66 for me.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a core of a good movie there.
Well, there's so
I
much
can see that.
Yeah.
It's like a barbecue Wagyu. Like, that's not what you're supposed to do with it.
Say what now? What was that?
I said it's like a barbecued Wagyu. It's not what you're supposed to do with it.
It's a good piece of meat.
Yeah.
Oh, okay then.
Adam didn't give a score yet.
No, we did not get
That is his score. 0 cats.
No cats whatsoever.
No, he didn't hate it.
We'll see if he
Zack Snyder fan.
tied Haley for this movie.
Just so glad that I
All right, here comes. The movie is kind of like a roller coaster.
Wow.
The movie are really high, but the low points are really low. So maybe not even performances. Special effects are well done. So 55 from Adam.
Wow, that's his high score.
Yeah.
That is high respect.
I'm usually a defender of Zack Snyder. 55. It's good.
All right. Well, that's interesting. All right. Let me see.
We have a 67.
67. Very good. Wow.
All right. Oh, wow.
Good job napping.
I'm a creative. I'm never good at math. You can understand.
Adam gave the Italian job.
So that would be a
D+.
Too many scores. That would be a D plus. That is a good way to look at it.
Wow.
Let me see. Watch.
Good job, Zach. You passed.
7
Just barely.
Beating out Experiment in Terror and
Oh my
Swiss
God.
Family Robinson.
Oh, jeez.
And
Tom Cobb was better than this.
It is not as good as Blade Runner. I'm sorry. I was not there for that one.
No, Blade Runner got pretty reamed.
Damn it.
Not by me.
No, I believe that.
What did I give Blade Runner? I gave Blade Runner an 86.
That's probably what I would have given it.
That's respectable.
I have to watch it again. I don't know.
It deserves more points just simply because it gave us Ghost in a Shell.
All right, Brian, are you ready to announce our next movie?
Maybe.
Brian coming off such hits as Stardust, A Christmas Prince, Harry Potter, 2 Harry Potter movies. What could Brian possibly bring us tonight?
Stardust is wonderful. I don't know why you put it up.
Battlefield Earth.
He likes Michelle Pfeiffer.
Heck, who doesn't?
Old Michelle Pfeiffer.
She came to my high school graduation.
Fabulous
Oh,
Baker.
there you go. See?
There you go.
I am on a roll today. God damn.
Anyway.
That's not with this movie.
There you go. Okay.
I saw that too, Adam. I was like, okay, that's fine.
That's fine.
It's just
had to
because
be
Chevy
done.
Chase is a notable prick. That's
It had
why.
to
Sorry,
be
Brian.
done.
What's
Yeah.
your movie?
I struggled to pick one. I wanted to pick something like every time I watch it, I want to make movies after I watch this movie, you know? And
Because they
struggled
inspire
to
you.
figure out,
Care Bears.
I struggled to figure out what to pick, but I think I have chosen it, and it is a rental. I'm sorry. Oh, brother, where art thou?
Oh,
there we go.
I love that movie. So good choice.
I have never
My
seen
dad
this.
loves that movie.
I
George
saw one.
Clooney on all your typical platforms. We're probably available at your local library.
It is.
I'm
Yes.
guessing most libraries are going to have a copy or two.
Yes, they do.
I just love the Coen brothers in general. Their films are never boring. They're not always great, but they're never boring.
It's true. You will leave with questions.
And of course, we go a musical. From Adam.
It's not
Not a
typical.
musical.
But Adam, it's a musical with George Clooney.
It has music in it. It is not a musical.
It's not a musical.
Do they sing?
Oh, I love it.
They think George Clooney. I don't think.
Clooney and the guys sing. Yeah.
And isn't that Woody Guthrie style music?
Yeah.
Don't prejudge.
Small
Don't prejudge.
They only really
What?
sing one
I've
song.
seen
in it.
parts
You
Other
don't-
than that, it's just
Is that what it is? The bluegrass?
Yeah, Woody Guthrie.
Building up pre-hate for the movie.
It's pre-hate for the Woody Guthrie music.
Wow. Okay.
The movie I haven't. I'll give it a chance.
What do you have against the Great American Songbook?
I hate it. That's what I have
Yes.
against it. I don't like it.
It's not a,
Right.
it's not
This
a,
movie's your movie. This movie's my movie.
Oh my god.
Just,
No,
y'all better be
Mrs.
grateful
Taylor.
Brian didn't say Blues Brothers 2000.
Mrs. Taylor's. We sang a lot. Mrs.
No,
Taylor.
my other choice would be like the Fast and Furious or something like that.
Oh, no,
but I
it's
didn't
not.
think
I thought it was Starship
First choice.
Troopers.
First choice.
I was really hoping it was going to be Starship.
you
Troopers.
wanted to pick Star. No, I think
No,
that's not a
pick a
great
movie.
choice.
I was like, he said, "Oh, this inspired me to go off and make movies." I'm like, "Oh, we're seeing Life of Brian."
No,
Ah,
it wasn't. No, this didn't inspire me. Like I was trying to pick a movie like that, but like I just couldn't.
Couldn't find it.
I couldn't find like the right one, and I just really love this one. I got the here it is right here. I have the soundtrack
no, wow.
Ooh.
music.
Ooh.
So
You'll perform for us next week.
Are you a man of constant sorrow, Brian?
I can play that song.
Ooh.
Some days, but yeah,
You,
Play
you
that
should
song.
make Adam sing.
Holly Hunter, George Clooney, who plays the other two inmates with him?
I forget their names.
Oh, I can see the
John Turturro?
Eric's
Yeah,
fucking
Turturro's
around
one of
Rotten
them. That's right.
Tomatoes.
Yeah.
that guy.
Yeah.
And the other guy.
And you've got John Goodman in a fun role.
Yes, John Goodman. Yeah, I just really like it because it's an adaptation of like Ulysses. It's great, you know, like the Odyssey.
Right.
Loved that as a kid, so when I watched this movie, I really loved it. So
I am not at all unhappy with it.
See, and I enjoy things like that, so I'm hoping. I've never seen it all the way through because the music always threw me. So I'm hoping that.
I mean, it is bluegrass, but it fits the time period that it's set in. So.
Who is Seal Wave
That'd be
1227?
Richard. That would be Richard. Adam says he takes it back. He remembers seeing this. There's music in it, but it's not a musical. Only
No,
one
it's not
musical performance. Yeah, and that's what everybody is.
Yeah.
Not a musical per se.
It's okay.
There's a couple.
Yeah.
But it's not like I'm gonna break out into song and dance. The music just is like supportive of.
I think this will be a good one.
Yeah, this is gonna be a good
I
one.
think Amanda's gonna like it.
Adam,
Yeah.
like we're watching Spider-Man 3, which is definitely a musical.
Hey, don't be ripping on
All right.
Spider-Man.
It's a musical.
I'm boarding finally.
Happy boarding.
All right.
All right.
See you.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
He's waterboarding.
I have to make sure not to hit end.
Yeah, don't end the whole thing.
There's no button for me to leave the room.
There's got to be a leave studio. I'll kick
It's
you
so
out.
awkward if you turn it off.
Do you want me to just kick you out?
No, I'll do
Be on
that.
the wheel.
All
You
right.
could be on the wheel.
Dan, you have too many low angle shots. You're fired. Get out.
That's all right. So next week, Dan will be announcing his double feature for the
That's
following week. So there is no wheel this week, and we just get to stare at Dan. No, I'm going to get rid of him. But if you miss him, he's gone. All right, there he is. Now I've got too many buttons to push on my own. There we go. Yeah. So next week, Dan will announce his double feature for April. And we'll figure out when we're doing that double feature in April. I have no idea yet. But while we wait, we can do this. So, what else have you been watching?
So we
I'll
paid
tell you
for
what I'm gonna
Peacock so
watch.
we could watch season 3 of Resident Alien.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
You're all in.
we are all in.
I haven't even started season 3 yet.
Oh,
We're
okay.
rewatching the first 2 seasons. We finished the first season.
I'm almost done with the first season of a show that my friend introduced me to a few weeks ago. It's called Upload.
What?
Upload.
Upload.
It's on Amazon. It's by one of the guys who made The Office, but it's all about what would happen if you actually were able to upload your conscious to the afterlife.
Oh yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
I remember
Like to the
hearing about
cloud, and all the ethical questions that come out of it. And I've never been angry at so many freaking people watching this show. Oh my god!
Wow.
Take things for granted, my ass. Like, be grateful for the life you have, people. That's what this show taught me. And to get outside.
Wow.
Yeah.
And to get outside.
Oh yeah.
So it's changed
As
your
an
life.
editor, that's a lot. Yeah.
This
Exactly.
show has changed your life.
Yes.
You're a better man than you used to be.
Yes, because I've seen people turn into worse people.
Wow.
Yep.
It's awful.
Well, that is depressing and yet inspiring.
Yes.
Brian, you were saying something. I'm sorry.
Yes, Brian.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, we mentioned Brazil a couple times today, and I think I'm going to try to find that because I haven't seen that in forever.
Good
It's been a
movie.
long time for me
Never
too.
saw
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
1985.
Yeah, it's really strange, but it's fun.
I have never seen that movie.
Well,
It's the kind of movie that
that's why I don't remember.
if you start to watch it, you don't have to ask who directed it. It is very much Terry Gilliam.
It is very
what's this?
watching that movie and then watching Pirates of the Caribbean.
I can't.
Currently available for rent
Or-
almost anywhere.
Or Time Bandits.
That too.
So this evening we finished watching the last half of Amsterdam. I don't know if you've seen this movie or not from 2022. Everybody in the world is in this movie.
Yes, it was heavily hyped and then it bombed.
Oh, and I understand why it bombed, because if it didn't have all these people in it, the story would not be enough to keep it afloat. But I just have to mention Taylor Swift is in this movie, so
for goodness sake,
for that alone, totally worthwhile. But you got Margot Robbie, you got Christian Bale.
You have the tremendous actress that is Taylor Swift in this. It's got to be great.
Eric, I'm just going to give you 3 movies: Lorax, Cats, and Amsterdam. What do these movies have in common besides having Taylor Swift?
They're amazing movies.
They're not good.
Hey, don't. The Lorax speaks for the trees.
We're talking the more recent version of the Lorax.
Let's be honest. The only thing that Taylor Swift is good at when it comes to movies is documentaries about her.
Concert films.
Hey, we could watch Valentine's Day next. Keep it up.
Were you following the every day a new track that is on the new release of the Eras Tour being revealed?
Oh yeah, well of course. The surprise songs. Yes, I keep up with what the surprise songs were the night after.
Never forget, guys, that's Eric's love for Taylor Swift that kept Cats from being the worst movie on our list. He gave it an 85.
Really not in it very much at all.
I would watch Cats right now.
Eric.
I will never watch Watchmen again, but I would watch Cats right now.
I loved that watch party.
Eric was blind when he was born.
Cats was a train wreck. Sometimes people like to watch train wrecks.
Oh, you see.
Amy Schumer movie. Saw it once.
It was a good movie.
Yeah. It's her funniest movie.
Yeah.
Then
Bill
she
Hader
became unbearable.
LeBron James.
Yeah. John Cena.
Who really made a name for himself at the Oscars, didn't he?
Oh my, that is actually a really good appearance for. Did you see All the Reasons Why, Dave?
Well, I saw Kimmel the day after.
Oh, for fuck's sake, get off the screen. She's not even in this scene.
Kimmel the day after the Oscars was talking about the battles he had with the network over that John Cena thing. He had to fight them, and he brought up, here was the envelope they tried to get me to use, and it was this massive thing. And he goes, well, let me first say, congratulations, John Cena.
3 things. Number 1, he was wearing something.
Yes, he was.
Number 2, it was like a 50-year anniversary of the streaker at the Oscars.
Yep.
What's his face?
David Niven. Yep.
Yeah, and then third, most important thing, maybe people already heard this too, but the costume guild is also on strike. And their point was, this is who you are without us. Pretty bold point, I would say. Maybe not a big one because it's John Cena, but it's a pretty bold point.
Kimmel is a decent host. I mean, he is never going to live up to maybe Billy Crystal at his prime or something like that, but he is a very solid host in my opinion.
Oh yeah, no, I've never had a problem with Jimmy Kimmel.
No, and he seems like people seem to play along with his whole shtick. They're not, people aren't easily offended.
Yes. So look, he has the perfect abs. He is wearing something underneath that.
Yeah.
But just the way he was shuffling across the stage, it took him forever to get to the microphone.
Class act.
Ass act.
Oh well, okay.
And so did most people here watch the Oscars, or at least part of them?
I've only seen part.
Okay.
I mean, I had friends who acted in Oppenheimer, so I had to see it.
There were some really good interactions. Kim has some great audience interactions as he's doing this. He had with Robert Downey Jr. He had a really good interaction. He was doing a few really good ones.
He wasn't the streaker.
I thought it was a really solid Oscars. They're actually on a good roll this year. There wasn't,
and they were done ahead of schedule,
right? It's like it wasn't bloated. It wasn't overly politicized. It was like, we're going back to showing you the best movies of the year.
Mm-hmm.
My gosh.
They should.
Yeah.
Speaking of the best movies of the year, Adam finally watched Wonka on Max. Okay, origin story, I guess, but I'm very partial to the original. Nitpicking a lot throughout.
It can't live up to the original.
No.
There's no way.
It has to.
But it's okay.
I'm just glad that I'm just really glad they got the prequel for Dune out of the way early. Like, it's not what I expected it to be, but I didn't have to make it.
Okay, I looked up David Niven. I think Dave, are you related?
I wish.
I always think of you when I see David Niven on anything anyway. So we brought him up.
David Niven is who Ian Fleming had in mind when he was writing James Bond.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
I could
He
see
wasn't.
it.
He wasn't this massive athlete. He was the ultimate debonair
Yes.
British guy. You know, it was. Yeah.
I just like the idea. You're both named David. Are you related? No, I'm kidding.
See?
He didn't die. He got cloned.
And
he got get out it.
I used to think of your dad because you resemble your dad a lot, and I always
I do resemble my dad a lot. I do.
And
And in fact, when I was a kid, because my dad's father died before I was born, but when I first saw a picture of my grandfather in the photo album, I thought it was my dad.
Right.
He and my dad looked so much alike; it was shocking. Yeah.
But
Just
I always
all clones, huh?
Yeah, clones.
It's
But
a
I've
gene, I guess.
always thought of your dad when I would see David Niven, and now it's you because you look so much like
It's the mustache.
I've seen the list. I'm a big Bishop's Wife fan. That's who I think of whenever
Yeah.
Bishop's Wife is excellent. Yeah.
Who shot that movie down? I wonder.
Was that my choice when we were doing the holiday movies? I think that was.
I think so. Yeah.
Which I found ironic, but I did not say.
Did you guys know he was originally
supposed
supposed to play the angel though, David Niven?
Yes.
I'm glad they switched.
Yes, Dave, that was yours when we were doing Christmas movies.
So much better than the remake.
Yeah.
Oh God, with Denzel Washington. Oh, that was awful.
And Whitney Houston. Yeah.
Adam also saw Dune 2.
Sorry, Dan. Sorry, Adam.
It was beautiful.
No, I saw it. It just wasn't as dramatic as I thought the first one was.
It wasn't as.
Now, does that finish the entire novel?
No, I don't think so.
Hey, Dan.
I don't think so because they didn't end with. It ended with them going off to war against the other houses.
Okay.
Which I don't think that's where the first one ended.
I didn't see either film yet. I mean, I saw the original. I read the book years ago, and I saw
the original. Didn't it start raining at the end?
I don't remember. It's been too many years since I read it.
And it changed to planet or something, but that didn't happen.
I read Dune and loved it, and I read Dune Messiah, which was the sequel, and went, it's okay. And I tried to read the third book, and I literally tried it twice, and both times, less than 100 pages in, I said, I just can't read this anymore. It just bored me. He somehow, to me, at least, he lost it. But the original book is awesome.
Yeah, and there's a guest appearance by our favorite bad guy in there. He's the Emperor. I can't think of his name right now. One of the outlaws on the Outlaws show. Yeah.
It is interesting, I think, how people react to films. Because
Christopher Walken, yeah.
I think Christopher Walken. I think people who are readers react to films differently than people who are primarily movie and visual people.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And I was thinking back because it's some of my biggest disappointments in movies have been adaptations of properties I loved because you can never quite do it justice. Even as good a movie as the Lord of the Rings series, it isn't as good as the books.
Right.
Yeah. I think books end up being better like series, like a miniseries or a TV show or something like that.
I think that's why in some ways so many films over the last 20, 25 years have been based on comic books or graphic novels because it's sort of a halfway point.
Yeah.
It's reading, but you have some visuals already established for you when you're making the movie.
Right. They have to do less work because all the visuals are right there in the comic book.
Yep.
You watch Marvel movies and yes, they took, they changed some of it around, but the first Iron Man, I mean, that was the suit was right from the comics. It was
yeah.
Well, see, now it's interesting now that we have a whole generation that's used to getting 10-second, 1-minute stories on social media. Are we actually going to go back to movies because now we don't have enough patience for a 10-hour story or over the course of 2 or 3 seasons?
And yet books have gotten longer. I mean, when I was a kid, a typical novel was like 200 pages.
Yeah.
and now it's like 800, if not longer. They're these massive things. So there's a weird. We keep hearing how kids' attention spans, newer generation's attention span is short, but somebody's buying these 800, 900 page books.
Yeah, but if you look at the font size and stuff, is it really, or are they?
It is definitely longer. I mean, you read through like the first Harry Potter book, I think is a great length. Even the second one, and by the fourth, they were so bloated.
That's true.
Doesn't mean they weren't good, but they were bloated.
Right.
Yeah, they actually got longer than they got shorter.
Yeah.
Yeah, last book was like what, 735 pages? Longest one was the fifth book, 800 something pages.
Yeah.
Then went back to 650, then 730. Yeah.
So do you know if Dan has picked his movies yet, Eric? Not what they are, but do you know if he's picked them?
I do not believe he has.
Okay.
You can pick your movies.
Indicated that,
and you can pick your friends.
He's using that time appropriately to mull on his choices.
No, he's procrastinating and will come up with something the day of.
That's right.
Yeah.
This is Dan we're talking about here.
Yeah.
We're going to do Pokemon, the first movie, and Amadeus.
A lot of us are the same. Amadeus, I've never seen.
Oh,
really?
Really?
Amadeus.
It's an okay movie. It's long.
That was almost my choice a couple
Was
weeks
that
ago.
like 1986?
84.
84. Well, I just remember it from my junior year being pushed for some reaon.
Well, yeah.
Falco had that big hit, the big top 40s. Amadeus.
Yeah. Maybe it was still big when I was a junior in high school.
Amadeus, yes.
That was a great song. I love that
It
song.
was.
It's also funny knowing the two people that played him in the musical stage, Mozart. It was Mark Hamill and Tim Curry alternating on Broadway.
Wow.
Think about that.
What a widely different.
Yeah.
There is a recording somewhere of Tim Curry as Mozart and frickin' Ian McKellen as Salieri. It has not been released yet, probably because people want to be very careful when they gingerly handle that cassette tape.
I think, like everybody, my first exposure to Mark Hamill was Star Wars.
Yeah.
But my first exposure to Tim Curry was the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yeah.
My first exposure to Tim Curry was at a bar at 3. No.
Okay.
Is that when he exposed?
Right.
I think my first exposure to Tim Curry was Clue.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mine.
There's also
Robin Hood.
He did the. He was in the original It miniseries,
Three
wasn't he?
Musketeers.
Oh yeah.
I think mine was either Fern Gully or
Oh.
that one time my mom and me watched the awful Beauty and the Beast Enchanted Christmas sequel.
Oh, that's right.
Because
He
she
was
wanted me to
Morgan.
shut up. Yeah.
How could we forget?
I don't know.
It's a beautiful movie. Don't rip on that one.
No, it's one of Reagan's favorites.
I would think so.
The physical media of Clue has all of the endings on it, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Tim Curry.
The only problem with Clue is it reminded me so much of Neil Simon's Murder by Death.
Which I'm not familiar with. So
I love how a German movie does the same kind of plot as Clue, Lola Run It, and it gets the Oscar for Best International Movie. Like it's a new concept. Oh, maybe this happened. Maybe this happened. I'm like, this is Clue. This is Clue with someone outside instead of in a mansion.
I will warn you. I am seriously thinking about picking a documentary next time my name comes up on the wheel.
That could go anywhere. There he is.
Who played it? I think it's Bernadette Peters who played the angel.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah.
Did.
Yeah.
They have the habit of wasting actual Broadway talents in Beauty and the Beast
Bernadette
movies.
Peters is correct.
I was thinking when we were talking about how it was after watching which movie was it we watched recently that Adam was pointing out the trend towards celebrity voices for voice acting.
Toy Story.
It goes back so much further than that because I was remembering, heck, the Rescuers had Bob Newhart and Ava Gabor.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
The Jungle Book had George Sanders as Shere Khan.
Okay.
We'll get you back, Brittany. We'll get you back.
Get you back in. We'll get you back in so you can pick a movie.
Anytime you have a Tuesday open, let Eric know ahead of time, and maybe we can reschedule.
Yeah, we'll make it happen. We'll make it happen. It's been way too long.
We miss you.
Oh, and Rescuers.
Yeah, Geraldine Page was in The Rescuers too, Dave.
It had some. Yeah, I mean,
good.
Definitely was a trend that was maybe accelerated and amplified, but it had been going on for a good while.
Yeah.
I already did my rant about the Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers movie, right?
Yeah, there you go.
What they did with Peter Pan.
What'd they do with Peter Pan?
Oh, okay. So this is a movie that came out on Disney Plus a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But Chip and Dale, like the Chipmunks, they had like their own TV show in the late 80s, early 90s. That was basically, them dressed up as Tom Selleck and Indiana Jones, because haha. But they did a Roger Rabbit. They tried to do a Roger Rabbit style industry movie with Chip and Dale. They even did like something with cosmetic surgery with where one of them gets like the CGI treatment, one of them is still 2D. It's actually kind of funny. But they did something so incredibly awful that I don't know whether it's brilliant or like one of the worst things Disney's ever done. So when they're going around meeting all these old stars, and they come across Peter Pan as like this late 30s child star turned failed actor who's like all fat, has his gut hanging out of his green shirt, he's scruffy, has this really awful New Jersey accent. And he's talking about how he hates the industry because they turned him down, turned him into a POS, and now he can't get work, and he's just miserable. If you know the story of the actual voice actor for Peter Pan, not only is that his actual life story where he basically got thrown aside in the 50s, he died when he was 29, homeless in an alley, drunk, and buried in a mass grave because he didn't have any money on him. So for them to go that hardcore,
I was going to say that's just cruel.
Yeah. Like, way to kick a guy when he's been dead for 50 years. Yeah, it is still too soon.
Oh, what's the old expression? Never attribute to malice what you can attribute to incompetence. My guess
they knew what they were doing. They had to.
That's awful.
If it was South Park, I would have trusted that more. But God dang it.
Well, if this makes you feel any better.
Yeah, I'm going to freaking find a furry convention and shove it up your ass, Eric.
Wow. Okay. All right, thank you.
And that'll be the sound.
This from the guy who is going to pick Food Fight as his favorite.
Okay, yeah.
Food Fight, Freddy Got Fingered.
Yes, I know. It's just
any of the F movies, any of the movies that have,
I just want to be able to sleep tonight. I'm sorry.
So, let's watch a good horror movie to cleanse your palate.
There you go.
I just saw it.
There you go. Dan's
fighting. Oh, wow.
What?
Yes. Wow.
That's crazy.
Wow.
So,
did you know? Hey, babe. Did you know I'm half of EriDan?
I mean, I'm the one who picked this movie technically with Amanda, so I don't know why I always make a big deal out of it. But
I was going to say, I did not choose this movie.
Willingly.
Yes, Scott didn't choose it.
Movie.
Scott did not choose the movie, but he was complicit.
Yes.
Exactly.
I didn't invade Iraq. I just wanted to.
All right, then.
Sorry.
Do we have a movie for next week? Are we not?
We have Brian's movie for next week.
Oh my God. Sorry.
But what about next week?
Wow, my brain.
Oh, brother, while out thou.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so I'd be watching.
Library, where is like I said?
Oh shoot. Let me get that off.
Is David Niven in that?
He might be.
Who knows?
I don't know.
He would have been if they made it in the 50s.
Yeah, he was dead by that point.
Yeah.
Well, this was George Clooney after Return of the Tomatoes, right?
Yes.
This was ER era George Clooney.
Yeah.
This was
Really?
Silver Fox, George Clooney. He still had some of the touch of gray. He was a walking man.
Charles Durning's in it too. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. He was a walking Just for Men commercial. That's what he was. Well, thanks for watching my crappy superhero movie, guys. I appreciate it.
32
It was a
down.
great
I
discussion.
enjoyed it.
It was a, unlike Cats, where we just basically
How you doing?
Just
kicked
fine.
and beat the horse till it was a pulp.
Thirsty. I wonder if
We
you-
enjoyed talking about Watchmen.
It's true. It's very true.
I go out and I get myself a Pepsi Cola.
Wow, a pep.
Yeah, you know, it's the choice of a new generation.
Groovy, but I'm a little hungry too.
Who's that guy?
Hey, well, when I get a little hungry, I go out, I pick myself up a Nestle's Crunch Bar. Yeah, it scrunches when it crunches.
Wow, I'd heard that. But I'm also, it's so dry.
You're dry.
Hot outside, yeah.
You're parched. Parched. Yeah, you need a beer, huh?
I could use
How
a beer.
about
He's so young.
a Moosehead.
A moosehead.
Moosehead.
From the north.
From the north, or a Foster.
Foster.
Somewhere Mike Myers and Dana Carvey are going, we should put this in our movie.
That's right. Exactly. A very young George Clooney
Wow.
from Return of the Killer Tomatoes.
He should have had that hair for Bruce Wayne.
Paul
So-
was
so-
on,
Yeah.
Paul was on Seth Meyers recently, and apparently, and she had not even realized this herself until recently. She did a lot of commercials and small parts when she was younger, and then she moved primarily into writing, and now she's back into acting again. But she had done this scene with what she did not realize had been a young Ryan Gosling. So Seth Meyer played the scene, and even as a little kid, he looks like Ryan Gosling.
That's funny. Seth Meyers and La La Land. That would have been hilarious.
I agree, Adam. I think some week we're going to have to do Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. But...
Yeah,
if we do if we do that, then we have to do Starship Troopers.
For like genre month, we should do like a cult genre. Maybe that works.
Has
That works.
anyone ever seen Hardware Wars? It was
I don't
a
think I
short
have.
spoof that came out within a year or two of Star Wars coming out. It was a spoof of Star Wars done on an incredibly low budget, where the Death Star was a waffle iron, and Chewbacca was a puppet they called the Wookiee Monster. Very funny. I remember laughing. I was watching that at a comic convention. It was hysterical. I
Did
wonder
you
if it's
know-
held up. I haven't seen it in years.
But just go relating to last week's movie, there was a little movie called Brave Little Toaster.
Oh,
And
yes.
Eric's
The-
favorite.
The
Eric
director
loves it.
wanted to make it CGI, but the studio turned it down. So he tried it with a different movie a few years later. It was called Toy Story.
Love the Brave Little Toaster.
Oh, I
Yeah.
do love the Brave Little Toaster.
One of the
I had-
that
Eric made me watch that. I
I
was not-
cry every time.
It is. It's a problem.
It's among my favorite appliance-based movies.
that song "Worthless" is like the song of Gen Zers.
Oh yes. Oh no, we're hitting on some great movies.
Yeah.
We're really brainstorming now. Yeah.
Yeah, seriously.
I was just getting started. You're worthless.
So what's coming out this summer?
That's great.
What's coming out next week?
That isn't a sequel.
I mean, the Fall Guy looks interesting. So I'm intrigued a little by that one.
I'm looking forward to this
Your shoulder?
next week. Yes, the shoulder movie. Did you not hear? It's the sequel to My Left Foot. It's My Left Shoulder.
Yeah, Daniel Day-Lewis is coming out of retirement.
Figure out what post it's pointing to. Godzilla.
Yeah.
Godzilla -1.
It's going to be so good. I can't wait.
It's supposed to be amazing. Yes.
The previews I've seen of the Godzilla King Kong movie, though, don't look very good.
Has anyone seen -1 yet?
Not yet.
Watch it.
I want to.
I just stopped watching any of those ones. I don't even remember what the last one was I watched.
Yeah,
Paul Rudd's been making the rounds.
That's
promoting
right.
Ghostbusters.
Adam, if you can deal with some melodrama, you should watch Godzilla -1. It is really good, man.
Is that available already? Godzilla -1? Is that
I don't see why not. I just want an Oscar. They're going to want
Is it
to
a
get that
musical?
thing out. But yeah, no.
Somewhere out there.
The guy who directed the movie did all the special
Godzilla
effects by himself. It is awesome. Totally deserved that Oscar.
That's awesome.
I did like Kimmel's joke about La La Land during the Oscars, where after Emma Stone won for Best Actress and she was walking off, he goes, "No, make sure you burn that envelope. We don't want a repeat of the La La Land incident."
Hot take. I think she deserved it.
I haven't seen the movie yet, but from what I have seen, it certainly sounds like she may have, but I haven't seen the movie, so I can't rate it.
Yeah, it is. It is one of those movies where you're like, what are the actresses willing to do to lose herself in a role? It's
we did just tonight watch, because it's the first part of 4 shorts in the film. We did watch Henry Sugar, which won for Wes Anderson for best.
I watched that. Yes,
I actually like that one with Ben Kingsley.
Yeah, with Ben Kingsley and Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah. Did you see the short with the 2 Chinese ladies?
My wife watched it. I haven't.
So one of my classmates made that.
Oh, cool.
Wow.
Yeah. And I can't pronounce his name, so I'm not going to say. I'm not going to insult him.
So you weren't close. You just...
I dropped the name. Yeah, exactly.
It's a drop. It's just a drop. It's no name drop.
Yeah, graphic for that, that'd be hilarious. Like, I don't know who they were, but they were in this movie. Just
according to my yearbook, they were in my class.
Yeah, exactly.
You guys were obviously very close.
Yeah.
Well, and then one of my other classmates, Ben Proudfoot, won his second thing for the documentary, the short feature about the L.A. school, the last, what's it called? See, I'm dropping it again. But
the last, what's it called?
Yes.
The last, what's it? It's another drop.
The last, what's it? Sounds like a Dr. Seuss book. I am the last, what's it? And you better not futz it. Oh my God.
Wow. And there you and on that note,
green tea, guys, highly recommend.
What's in that tea?
All green. It's Grinch.
The Last Repair Shop.
Thank you.
There
I clearly need one.
Just reboot.
Yes.
Nice.
All right.
Cool.
Cool.
There we go.
Everybody cool?
Yeah.
Ready.
All right. So next week we're all going to be talking about Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
The library did have it. I ordered it.
Yay!
Everybody go to Stacy's house and
is this our second Coen Brothers movie?
I don't know.
I think it is.
I think so.
Yeah.
If not, we have far to go.
We watched Fargo, I know.
Yeah, we did do Fargo. That's true.
That's what everybody says is the best one.
That was
I don't know if it's their best. It's certainly their most unexpected and sort of groundbreaking in a way. It's a very, very unusual movie, incredibly well done. But something like Oh Brother, Where Art Thou or Raising Arizona, in their own way, I like as much, but they have a very different tone to them.
Yeah, I like Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? I think it's their best one for me. So
I'm a No Country for Old Men kind of person.
I see. Okay,
never say that on a first date, but
they haven't done as well with the remakes. The Lady Killers was a real disappointment. But I love the original with Alec Guinness so much that it's hard to live up to that.
They're trying to rob.
I have one last funny story before we go, Eric.
Sure. They found the money.
Bill Murray wanted to make the Garfield movie because he misread that it was the Coen brothers, not the Coen brothers. He thought the Coen brothers were doing it, and that's why he picked that movie. It is hilarious.
Ooh.
Yeah, you got to read the fine print.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is why it's
that doesn't explain why he did the second one.
Right?
Money. That's the obvious answer.
It's them this time.
Yeah. Oh, wait. It's not them again?
Was he in Caddyshack too?
I
don't know. That just might make a good story.
Yeah.
I got plenty of Bill Murray stories, but we're out of time. I get you.
All right.
Right on.
All right. We will see you back here next Monday. How about it?
All right.
TTFN.
All right. Everybody have a good week. See ya. Good night. Bye.
Goodbye.